The holiness I require from my people, my beloved bride. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:20. In order to surpass the righteousness of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will need to know their righteousness. The Pharisees and scribes, or teachers if you were, would be studied in Yah's word, memorizing scripture from such a young age, and were told to obey all of Yah's commands. They would come to the temple outside the temple for prayer and worship to Yah 3 times a day, and more if needed. They would also see to matters that involved with the people in the tribe. Although the Pharisees harmonized the teachings of the Torah law with their own ideas suggested or implied into it. For example, he answered, "Indeed, why do you break the command of God by your tradition?" Matthew 15:3. You see, the Pharisees would twist the commands round to suit their man-made traditions, which they could not let go. They became prideful at heart without realizing it. The Lord wanted to show this to them, as he did on many occasions, but at each one they refused to listen. A stubborn spirit can be very dangerous indeed. Parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. Also to some who are relying on their own righteousness and looking down on everyone else, he told this parable. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Palush, Pharisee, and the other a tax collector. The Palush stood and prayed to himself, "O God, I thank you that I am not like the rest of humanity, greedy, dishonest, immoral, or like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, I pay tithes on my entire income." But this tax collector, standing far off, he wouldn't raise his eyes towards heaven, but beat his breast and said, "God, have mercy on me, sinner that I am." I tell you, this man went down to his home right with God, rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and for everyone who humbles himself will be exalted. Luke 18:9-14. Concerning the matter with prayer and worship, it is good that they wished to pray to Yah in the temple and outside the temple. However, it was their empty prayer and worship that displeased Yah. They would have long prayers with words that were repeated. The prayers weren't from their hearts, and Yah was longing so much as to heal them and help them make prayers that were true. Memorizing scripture is also very good, as the Lord wants his word forever on our hearts, so that when we speak his word, and that is like a melody to his heart. But the problem lies not practicing his law. You see, Yah gave his commands on mitzvah so that we could obey them and apply them to our lives, and he has nothing wrong with tradition, but when it contradicts his word, then this tradition has to go. He also came to remind his people about his commandments, to explain further that, for example, say you hated someone for something they did, then you have committed murder in your heart, and thus you have broken the 6th commandment. He was showing and revealing the sins from their heart, which they were unaware of, and bringing to light the standard of the law. So let's break this down, so that you know the level of righteousness that is required to enter the kingdom of heaven. Yah is looking for people who will practice what he commands of us, will pray from their hearts. Praying from your heart means telling Yah what is on your mind, and confessing of sins you have made, asking him also to help you to not make these sins again. Yah is looking for a relationship with us, and so we create a bond by our prayers to him, with our sincere heart speaking to him. To sing from our hearts, our heart will want to sing to our Creator. Holy, holy, holy are you, O Lord. Let it flow out. Reading his word daily, so that our soul is filled with his will, his love, mercy, and compassion. By knowing his word, we may speak his word, and therefore practice what he commands us to do with a sincere heart. By also reading his word, we are familiar with practicing his law in many situations. All that is needed is careful reading, slowing down as you read verses, and using discernment of the Spirit to apply his beloved word to our lives.